Because I'm a sexy king lord. You should use that every time you address me.
If I identify as rich.
No, because that has to do with something beyond simple self-expression. Like if you're talking about like
lord.
adjectives, right? You're talking about like words that describe who you are, right? So let's say like you're a rich man, all right? You can't really identify as rich though.
Welcome to Mead Talk, where we believe everything is better with mead. Now, mead itself is the most ancient alcoholic beverage known to man. People have come together around the table for thousands of years and drank this wonderful beverage to solve all the world's problems. And this is exactly what we intend to do today. So, we're going to discuss the world's problems, and we invite all perceptions on the stage. Unfortunately, we don't have a guest here tonight, but we do have the privilege, the honor of being able to, have fun and talk amongst ourselves. So the rules of engagement for Mead Talk are you must drink 3 glasses of mead to enter the realm of Mead Talk.
3.
A minimum of 3. So everybody up here tonight have consumed a minimum of 3 glasses. It's got us loosened up, allows the filters of the mind to be dissolved, so that we can talk about important things. And that's exactly what we intend to do. Now, Mead Talk is done in front of a live audience, so there is a mic at the bar, and we encourage everybody to partake. Yes, that is the mic at the bar. Right there.
I just raised his hand. He's there.
You may speak to Mike, and he may speak to us. That is the only way we can hear you. So, tonight is a mashup Monday on a Sunday. So we're just throwing a bunch of things together. We've got some main topics, some main subjects to go through. We're going to talk a little bit health stuff. We're going to talk diabetes specifically. We had a very interesting conversation with one of our customers not too long ago. What was it? Last Mead Talk?
Last week.
Was it last Mead Talk?
It was last week. When Ryan was here.
Gosh, dang! That feels like it was yesterday.
Oh, I know.
I don't even know where this week is gone. That's wild. Well, I know I was thrown up for part of the week.
Yeah.
But once I got through that, I came back.
Yep. I was on that boat.
But so we were talking to him about diabetes, and he had an interesting take. It was very cool to see this because we've got a few diabetes. People that have diabetes. I was going to say diabetes people, but like that's not what defines it, right?
We have a few customers for diabetes.
Yeah, we have a few customers that have diabetes. One of them is like up on the charts, like in our royalty club, pretty high up there. Yeah, second or third. Second right now. We haven't done the maths lately.
Yeah,
we need to go back to the board and see where everybody's at. By the way, if you're a royalty member and you're here tonight, you get 50 points.
50 points.
Added on to your royalty club. So, but we were talking with this individual. He had a few glasses of mead that night.
I did.
Quite a few. And he went to go check his blood sugar, and he's like, it's regular. The blood sugar's fine. And he didn't understand why, because when he goes to other places and drinks, it skyrockets.
Yeah.
And so this is a phenomenon that I'm not prepared to talk about, honestly, but it's a very interesting phenomenon. That we're going to talk a little bit tonight about. We're going to talk about a little bit about diabetes and how to at least get some relief from it, right? And I've been an herbalist for 13 years now, which is actually why I got into making mead, believe it or not. And I've seen some things, helped some people out with natural medicine. And it's a real thing. It's a real thing that can help people out. So every once in a while, we're going to throw this in here because it's something that we're pretty passionate about.
And I've studied physiology and what the body wants, what the body needs, how it processes everything that we take in. At some point, it don't look like it now, it was over a decade ago. I was into powerlifting and bodybuilding and had a very strict diet.
Yeah, for sure. And but just so people know, there's two types of diabetes. There's type 1 and type 2. Type 2 is purely dietary. I think everybody's under that impression.
Right.
I would say that type 1 is purely dietary up until a certain point, right? So I think that it's a condition that's developed over time. Now, I do believe there are some people that it happens right off the bat that they're exposed to some sort of toxin or something that literally damages their pancreas, right? And that happens. Those sort of things happen. It happens with a lot of different organs in the body, right? It's not just the pancreas, the liver. There's a bunch of different things that can be damaged from exposure to something, which causes a symptom like diabetes. See, the problem that with the medical field is they believe that diabetes is the cause. Well, diabetes is the symptom of a cause, right? And so that's where, and you know what? We are not doctors, so do not listen to us unless you're smart.
Yes. However, doctors get all of their information out of books that people have experienced with other people and said, this is what we believe. They are practitioners. Doctors are practitioners. There's always a flip side. There are doctors that will or have documented evidence of what it is we're talking about now. But we are not doctors.
Yeah, there's MDs out there that have flipped over to natural medicine for a good reason, right? They realized what they were doing was harmful to people, and they realized that they could do it better with natural medicine. Under my complete and utter subjective opinion, I believe that herbs in the natural world can do things better, faster, and more efficient than any medication out there. The reason is that medications are chemicals. They're chemical substances that rely on chemistry of the body to work. Unfortunately, your body fights this at every instance it can because it's not natural, right? This also causes autoimmune issues later on in life because your body just keeps trying to fight and fight and fight and can never win because you're constantly putting toxins into the body, right? With natural medicine, there are cofactors and beneficiary factors that coincide with like a whole food or a whole herb that work together beneficially to mitigate side effects of different toxins per se that might be in it. So, and everything, just so everybody knows, everything is a drug. So when I studied Ayurveda, they believe that everything that you consume, even with your eyes, in your environment, everything that you look at and do and consume in your mind and consume in your mouth is a drug. So your food, that's why the Upanishads say the subtle energies of your food become your mind. This is a true statement, very true statement. I guarantee that if you drink a whole bunch of mead, you will think differently.
Which this is also why I tell my children if we cook dinner and they're like, oh, it doesn't taste good. I tell them, It doesn't matter how it tastes. It's the proper food. It's the fuel for your body, for your life. Eating is not about taste.
Turn your mic up so you're speaking to the side of it. That mic's not designed straight on. It's for the side.
That's how I get too.
Oh.
I had too much meat before, and now I'm running low, so I'm trying not to drink it.
There you go. Yeah, you're supposed to speak to the side of that one. Like that. There you go. You got all the wires this time. I switched the side of everything.
Yeah.
Normally the wires are over here.
I know. I'm all like wrapped up in vines.
There you go. Now I can hear you loud. Breathe the lean Charlie over.
But it sounded good to me. I don't know if that's speaking.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I'm looking at the bars over here.
Okay.
But if you want to, so you've done a lot of research into intermittent fasting and
Yes.
how that works with diabetes and stuff. Would you like to go into that first?
Yeah, we can talk about that. So I am an intermittent faster. If you're not familiar with what intermittent fasting is, that is just a period of time that you allow your body to fast.
Well, refer to our first mashup Monday on Sunday, right? Because we talked about fasting.
We did.
And we talked about intermittent fasting. I talked about just purely fasting.
Purely fasting.
You talked about intermittent fasting.
Yes.
Quite a bit on that Mead Talk.
So if they haven't seen that one, intermittent fasting is a period of time in which you do not eat. You have no caloric intake. As soon as you take in calories, your body breaks the fast. So I do, at this point, I do what they call an 18-6 fast. 6 hours a day, I'm allowed to eat. 18 hours a day, I do not eat. I do not drink anything with calories.
Except for me.
Yeah, well, this does it, but I'll never have a meat before noon.
Yeah.
So I break my fast, and by the way, not a lot of people put two and two together, but breakfast, if you take those two words and separate them, it is break fast. So I have breakfast at noon.
I thought he was grabbing the mic and he grabbed a Mountain Dew.
I thought he had something to say. So breakfast is breaking your fast. That's why it's called breakfast. You break your fast.
Yep.
So my breakfast is at noon, and my meals conclude, on average, about 8 o'clock at night. Sometimes I don't get to break my fast till about 1, maybe 2. And then, of course, my meals can extend another 8 hours, 9 or 10. But I have been doing that for years. Before I went to this one, I was doing what they call a 24 fast. I had 4 hours a day to eat. 20 hours a day I did not eat, did not drink anything with calories. And when I say that, I don't mean anything in general. I mean anything without calories, I would consider. For example, could I eat celery? Yes. Celery is what they consider a 0-calorie food.
Pickles too.
Pickles as well.
Yeah.
Because it takes more energy to digest them.
Do y'all just say that y'all do kegels?
Kegels?
Like kegel exercises?
Yes, I do. Is that interesting you?
No, not interesting me personally. I just wanted to make
No,
sure.
Do what exercise?
We
Kegel exercise.
said nothing about Kegel exercises. Thank you. Get your head out of the gutter. Get your head out of the gutter.
Yeah, kegels, right? So
Yeah.
Keggals, right?
I have no idea how to spell it. I've never looked it up.
One G.
I just want to.
We have a gentleman sitting over here trying mead for, is it the first time?
No, sir.
Not the first time. We have a gentleman over here trying mead for the 18th time. They said it's 1G. We're going to go with the 1G.
I can agree to that logic.
I can cure it. No, we did not mention kegels.
Pickles. I said pickles.
He did say pickles.
That's what
That's what he's looking for.
I was like, where did he get this?
I'm actually thinking, like, where on God's green earth did he hear kegels?
Can you not hear
Pickles.
No, I like legit. Like
Pickles.
that's what I heard. Yeah.
Okay,
I turned it up a little bit. Maybe you can hear us a little better.
we know where your mind's at, Nathan. That's a negative. Negative goes right. So yes, I did 24 intermittent fasting for a couple of years. Before I got into intermittent fasting, like I had mentioned previously, I was into bodybuilding, powerlifting, strict lifestyle on what I consumed. Because in order to be in that type of shape, your body has to have what it needs. You cannot be at peak performance eating junk food. It's just not possible.
That's 100%.
And
But I'm under the impression that the body needs herbs.
it
Right.
does. Well,
It needs complex compounds or complex chemicals that you can only get from nature.
one of my main, which if you do work out, especially heavy weights, one of the main things you have to have is branched chain amino acids. Your body has to have those.
Not necessarily in the form of protein, but
Not in protein, no.
just the actual amino
But
acids.
you have to have BCA because that is what starts the process of rebuilding your
But-
cord muscle.
Yeah, so those are materials, right? So I think of it, and I explained it in like you have materials and then you have directional chemicals, right?
So explain more about you're saying the herbs. So let's
Yeah.
say like Dad. You know, Dad was a powerlifter.
Yeah,
I know he did a lot of, I guess, untraditional things.
no traditional things.
Well, untraditional from normal society.
Yeah.
But traditional from if we go back in time.
Yeah, well, okay, so if we want to go back with Dad, like, he, as just everybody knows, refer to the last Mead Talk.
Not last, when it was like
the one
2 or
before,
3
yeah,
ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was a power lifter, but I got him on some health stuff, some different herbs and different things that really changed his physique and how he was able to function, but gave him the ability to really, in 8 months go from 250 to 455 deadlift. And,
You know, it just hit me. I understand what you're saying now.
yeah,
Because when I did what I did, there were things that I had to have, like turmeric.
yeah.
Because I personally, I don't like Advil on my cut at all.
No.
And turmeric is fantastic if you lift heavy weights. Because your joints will get swollen, and that helps a lot.
Yeah, well, one of the things that's even better is the frankincense extract,
Yeah.
boswellic acid, which is on another Mead Talk. I could not remember what it was called, but it's boswellic acid. It's incredibly good for you. It's the extract of frankincense. But there's a reason why frankincense and myrrh are so highly thought of in traditional sense of different religions and stuff. But it's, boswellic acid is incredibly anti-inflammatory. I would say even more so than turmeric.
Right.
But yeah, that's a big part of it, keeping inflammation down. But you also have to have different nutrients, right? So let's take, for instance, magnesium, right?
Right.
95% of people in America are deficient in magnesium.
Yes.
But magnesium plays 300 different roles in the formation of ATP, the ultimate energy chemical, right?
Right.
So, which is actually extremely important for diabetics, which is why I bring it up. Because if you're not, so the whole purpose of glucose and insulin is like the key that opens up the cell to get glucose into your cell and then goes to your mitochondria to convert it into ATP, adenosine triphosphate, right?
Mhm.
Which is like the little pops of energy that happen in all of your muscles and movement and thoughts and your nerve, everything. That's the ultimate form of energy, your biological energy, right? So if you can't produce that for some reason, that's the issue of diabetes, right? Well, magnesium is extremely important in that process. If you're deficient in it, you're going to feel like crap. You're going to feel tired, lethargic. You're not going to be able to do things that you need to do. You're going to feel unmotivated. You're not going to feel relaxed because your body's going to be in stress mode, right? Because if you don't have the things that you need, If you don't, we are noble beings and we require noble amounts of minerals and chemical compounds that come from the earth, right? And if you don't have those minerals, if you're missing, if you have gaps, your body goes into like freak out mode pretty much, which is where a lot of anxieties come from, a lot of issues come from mentally as well, because your nervous system is like fight or flight. It can't figure out whether or not it's trying to survive or whether it's thriving, right? So those missing compounds are extremely important in anything. I always tell people, greens drink and, like something to fulfill your multivitamin needs, like every vitamin, everything, right? Normally a greens drink will do it every day. A greens drink, not just like juicing spinach, right? I'm talking about a multitude of greens, like a powdered greens drink. That's got like dandelion and barley grass.
So what kind of foods would magnesium be found in?
Magnesium is extremely potent in chocolate and cacao. Raw cacao is huge. I mean, it's therapeutic doses of magnesium in chocolate. Same with iron. That's why a lot of women around their menstrual cycle, they'll want to eat chocolate because of the iron that's in it, right? There's things that we seek out and we don't really realize. The unfortunate thing is that we've taken everything that was once good and made it bad, like chocolate, right? Chocolate was once really good for us, extremely good for us. But then we went and hybridized it into, from the Arabian Nacional cacao, which was like the original traditional cacao plant, and we took and modified it, hybridized it into the CCN 120, I think is what it's called. But yeah, that one is it's extremely good for you. Cacao is amazing, so chocolate is extremely good for you. The unfortunate thing is we've taken it, we've hybridized it. It's lost a lot of its medicinal compounds, its bitters and stuff like that. It's still bitter, but not as much. And we add a ton of sugar to it, right?
Yeah.
Mostly sugar and milk, right?
As I was saying, milk.
Yeah,
Dairy
so
is not exactly
we've made it bad for us. Chocolate is wonderful. And the cool thing about chocolate is the taste is so powerful, it hides a bunch of different herbs. So I used to make a fudge every morning, and it was my breakfast. And I would add like maca to it, which is great for your hormones. I'd add lucuma, which is just all around mineral things. I would add all sorts of things. I'd add cayenne pepper, all sorts of things. I'd eat it as a fudge, right? Super incredibly good medicine to start your morning off with. I know I'm going on a rant right now. But those things, I think those things are extremely important. That you have to know that you need these things to live healthy, happy lives. If you don't have minerals, if you don't have these chemical compounds in your daily life, you're going to suffer.
So jumping
some
back
way or
to
another.
intermittent fasting, it actually helps regulate your hormones.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that.
So when you intermittent fast, and a lot of people, they'll eat a meal, they'll snack between, let's say they'll snack between breakfast and lunch, they'll eat lunch, then they'll snack between lunch and dinner, then they'll have a snack after dinner.
Every gas station they pass, they pick something up.
Right. That is extremely unhealthy for a lifestyle.
Well,
Unless one, the amount of meals that you're eating, like that's technically considered at least 6 meals.
yeah, you've done that before too.
I've done that before. And that's where I'm getting at, unless those meals consist of what your body needs.
Yeah.
So when you stop and get chips and you eat, fried chicken for lunch, and you eat bacon and eggs for breakfast, and you eat fried pork chop or whatever for dinner, and then you're getting chips and candy and all that in between for snacks. That's where you're going wrong. It's I'm not gonna say it's wrong for you to eat that many meals during the day. It's wrong to eat what you're eating that many times a day. So a part of intermittent fasting is when I eat, I choose what my body wants. At least I did. Now it's a lot more difficult. But I'm more conscious of it.
Yeah, just
Than most
so
people.
you know, yeah, we're all living lives that are difficult to make this happen, right?
Yes.
And
We work almost 24/7.
yeah, it's it never stops. You know,
No.
we get a day or two off every once in a while.
Yeah.
And like maybe one a month.
Holidays.
Yeah, some holiday. Lately, we've gotten like more than usual because of the holidays.
Right.
But yeah, we don't really get days off anymore. And so yeah, it gets difficult. We travel a lot. You know,
We do.
traveling it's difficult
Yeah.
because if you try to eat healthy when you travel, it's a little bit more expensive.
Yep.
You know, you want to reach for the good stuff, but it's a little more expensive. So you try to just do what you can. You know, we understand that 100%. It's better to try and prepare it if you can get disciplined enough to prepare. And there are ease of use of things out there. They're made it pretty easy to do. And you just got to try to work towards it. And I started a book a while ago called The Progression of Health. And it goes through the standard American diet. And it also goes through like the natural human diet of what it once was and what it now should possibly be, because we're different beings than we used to be, right? We used to live amongst the wild, and we used to forage our own food, and we used to grow our own food and stuff like that. It was more like a horticultural society where we grew amongst the wild for more food production. Now we're at the point where everything comes from monoculture and it's bullcrap. It just, we spray it and till it and just tear it all up, and it becomes all about the macronutrients of calories and none of the micronutrients or minerals that we need. And so here's if you look at the standard American diet, the SAD diet, right? It is a lot of calories, very little nutrition. If you go to indigenous cultures, it's a lot of nutrition, very little calories. That's why they're so healthy. That's why these cultures live to be 100 years or more and are able to jump 6-foot freaking vertical leaps, like ridiculous vertical leaps, because of the nutrition that they get from the wild. If you go get a wild plant, for instance, wild lettuce. You go get wild lettuce, Sam. And then you go to the store and you get lettuce. That wild lettuce has 1,000 times more nutrients than the lettuce you get in the grocery store.
Do you need a refill?
I can.
I do too. I'm going to go get one, but I'm going to let you explain to them. Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm going to let you explain to them what wild bananas are like compared to what we have at the store.
What wild bananas?
There's still wild bananas out there.
Yeah, good luck.
I'll show you a video where they found them.
Well, okay, yeah, I agree that they're out there, but all the bananas nowadays are grown in like labs,
But I'll show you the video. There's a guy I watched, and he found wild bananas, and he actually had a video of, this is what bananas actually look like.
Yeah.
The seeds.
Small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was,
Well, and I've grown bananas, but they all come from pups, right? So when you grow bananas, what happens is you have a pup that shoots off from the bottom, and it creates a new banana tree. And you separate that from the mother, and you take it and you plant it somewhere else. It's basically a clone of itself, right? And so that's where banana trees come from. But they've been hybridized and grown to be seedless. These wild bananas, they're small. And when they grow, they have these long black seeds that are inside of them.
Hey Matt,
Yes.
have you ever heard of the giant red banana?
The giant what?
The giant red banana. Like you're talking about multiple different types of bananas and like wild varieties of bananas and stuff.
Yeah.
I know kind of you're talking about the super small ones, but I recently saw a YouTube short where it was this guy, and his whole thing is he just talks about exotic fruits.
Yeah, that's cool.
And he showed off this banana that was like huge.
Yeah.
It had to have been at least
His
like,
hands were like this.
yeah, it had to have at least been like a 2-foot banana.
Yeah.
And it was red and it was fat and it had all these seeds in it, but apparently it was the tastiest fucking banana.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it was wild.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, the bananas we get in the store today are not like that. And I guarantee that banana, the wild banana, is probably not a banana that you can send to a store and it keep for weeks and weeks and weeks. It probably starts to decompose pretty quickly. That's one of the reasons why certain breeds are selected to go to stores, right? So like most people in North America have never heard of a pawpaw, right? But a pawpaw is oh my gosh, it is a fruit. It's a tree that naturally grows here in North America, all over North America. I've got 2 of them at my house, right? And the fruit that it produces is amazing. It looks like a mango, but it tastes like a banana custard mango, beautiful tropical fruit. It is so good.
I think I've heard of that kind of fruit before.
Good.
And I know that North America has a lot of like stuff like that people don't really know about.
They don't.
South America also have a lot of stuff like that too.
Yes.
And I think in Hawaii and South America both, you can find this thing called I think it's like commonly just called a puke fruit. And it's it tastes really gross, but the thing is, it's also supposed to be really, really beneficial for you, right? Like it's supposed to be really, really.
I have heard of that fruit.
And it's like it's like speckled. It has like these yellow spots and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you seen the fruit that looks like corn on the cob?
Is it corn?
No, there's a reason I said it looks like corn. But it does. It looks like it's green, and when it's ripe, you sort of just scratch at the outside, and the outside of it flakes off. But once it flakes off, you take a bite, and what I hear, it's phenomenal. You can actually get it. They have it in Miami, and they'll send it to you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But it doesn't ripen all at once. So you get to flake some off, take a bite, let it sit, day or 2, ripen, flake some more off, take a few more
I
bites.
do have a question for you guys. Have you guys ever got to experience jackfruit?
Yes.
I've only seen videos, but I know it's really delicious.
Dude, you can get it at Publix now.
Yes.
Can you?
Yeah.
How expensive is it?
Super expensive.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, it is worth it. But if you've got like $30 to $50, depending on the size, just to waste anywhere, it is worth it.
It wouldn't be a waste.
It's not a waste. It'll feed a family, right? A jackfruit's the largest fruit in the world, right? And they can be upwards of 100 pounds. The ones that you get at Publix, they're probably like anywhere from 30 to 40 pounds. They are gigantic.
They're up there with pumpkins, aren't they?
Yeah. But pumpkins aren't considered a fruit, I don't
Yeah, they
think.
are because they're
No, they're a vegetable. They're a squash.
Yeah.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
thought that fruit was just a seed-bearing like
So-
plant.
Sort of, right? One comes off a tree. But I'm still confused as to why tomatoes are considered fruits, right?
Yeah.
Tomatoes are I
No.
thought it was just because like fruits can also come from vines.
Well, yeah, so technically, yeah. Well, yes. Technically, everything that produces like something of that sort, like a seed-bearing fruit, is a fruit, technically.
Like by definition. that's
By
what it is.
definition, yeah.
Right. But you don't treat them like fruit. Because anyone
Yeah.
that's going to say, like, of course a tomato's a fruit, but anyone that treats a tomato like an apple is probably,
Well, my son does. He eats them like they're apples.
just takes a
Oh yeah,
bite
just
out
takes
of
them and eats eats them. He loves tomatoes.
Hey, I mean, if you like
There are
tomatoes,
some-
that's a good way to eat them. I
Well, there are some tomatoes though that are so different in taste, so delicious.
Heirloom tomatoes are so good.
Oh yeah, there's an heirloom tomato called the atomic tomato, but it's a cherry tomato. But they get pretty big. I mean, for cherry tomatoes, and you can just pop those suckers in your mouth and eat them all day. They're so dang good. But yeah, I love the heirloom variety of anything, honestly.
So I'm curious. We're talking about fruits, and we were talking about bananas earlier. Did y'all know that bananas are apparently considered a berry? They're a kind of berry, apparently. I didn't know.
A berry.
Yeah.
Well, bananas aren't trees, right?
Well, they grow from trees, don't they?
No, they're not. They're not trees. They're actually an herbaceous plant, right? So they're an herb. That's why they would be considered a berry, because they're not really a tree. They don't have wood, right? They're not a woody stalk. You can literally take a machete and just slice right through a banana stalk, like a trunk, because it's just flesh. It's like there's no wood to it.
I've never known that.
It's a
Yeah.
very big
That's really
dandelion.
cool.
Yeah, it's a very big dandelion, basically. Yeah.
That's a big, like,
Yes, yeah. Yeah, like
holy crap.
yeah, like I've grown bananas, right, and they're so juicy though. Like they're like you cut through them and it just like starts spewing water. It's wild, right? But that's what I was explaining earlier. Like you separate the pups from the mother, and that's how you get a new banana tree, because they kick off pups every year.
So if that is the case, then are prickly pears, are those berries? Because those don't grow from trees either, those grow from cactuses.
They're a cactus.
Cacti.
Okay, so they're separate just
Yeah.
by themselves.
Yeah, so Nepal cactus and that's actually one of the things that's really good for diabetes. Just so you know, it helps to regulate blood sugar phenomenally.
So like agave nectar.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah, we should probably get back to diabetes.
Yeah. Okay, but first though, I think we need to throw out a shower thought.
Yeah,
We've
we got some shower thoughts to throw out.
and we are 38 minutes into the show. So we need to throw out a shower thought.
Please.
I'll let you take the first one.
No, you're good.
All right, I got the first one. Shower thought number one. Your stomach thinks that all potatoes are mashed.
We got some laughs out of that one. That was good.
Yeah.
It was really good. I mean, it's true.
Get every night.
I mean,
That's every food too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your stomach is like, all food is a slurry of
Except when you accidentally swallow a
isn't
skill and it's like, oh, this is what it's really like.
but isn't it really cool how biology is able to pick out minerals and use them for what it is when it's all mashed together?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's all like chemical reactions and stuff happening in the body.
Not necessarily, because just a pure chemical reaction will not choose, right? Like a pure chemical reaction with a slurry and mix of things gets all messed up. But biology is the only thing that can actually pick and choose the chemical reactions that it wants to do.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Well, that's the whole purpose of the liver, isn't it? Is to kind of, filter out anything that could have a bad reaction.
Sort of. Well, the function of the liver, it has many different functions, right? It stores glycogen, which is a storage of energy production, right?
It's also like it functions as like in the blood creation cycle, right? Like it helps you like when you're making new blood from your body.
Yeah, it works with the bone marrow to do that. Yeah, the liver has so many different functions, and
You can grow back.
yes, one of the few mammalian organs that can actually regenerate, like deer antler can. So yeah, there's very few mammalian organs. I think those might be the only two. Now, the liver can't fully, it can fully regenerate to a certain extent, but deer antlers actually fully regenerate every single year, which is pretty wild. That's why when you take deer antler, it's very beneficial
Yeah.
to regeneration. Yeah. Yeah, I used to take it all the time, and actually, I used to have it in a mead.
The FDA doesn't like that.
No, the FDA doesn't like that, so we took it out of the mead.
We get a lot of black ant too.
Yeah, the ant. Yeah, I forgot. The ant was the ant in it.
Yes.
So it was deer ant extract and cordyceps and nettle root.
Yeah. Because nettle is really, really good for the liver cleanse.
Well, it's also really good for aromatization. So like it stops good testosterone from flipping into bad estrogen. Right. Gosh dang, what else was in that one? I don't know. It was really good.
We gotta find that and look it up.
I got the recipe somewhere. I've got it somewhere.
But I never woke up and was tired.
Yeah,
Back then, I never woke up and
I
was
know.
tired.
Yeah, it's because you were in catabolic stage.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is I've seen people that were in catabolic stage all the way up until their 80s.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lady out there that's a raw food vegan. I think she's still alive. But I remember about 10 years ago, I saw her. She's 82 years old. She looked like she was 30 something.
Yeah.
It's wild, dude. Wild what you can do to give your body the right things. It's wild. But anyways, moving on. Do you want to go into a little bit more? Because you didn't really get to the diabetes thing and intermittent fasting and how that helps and stuff. You just explained intermittent fasting.
Right. So intermittent fasting and diabetes, with intermittent fasting, it does, like I did mention how it helps regulate your hormones.
Yes. Yeah.
Which we all know that the pancreas is very key in diabetes.
Yes. Because it produces insulin, right?
It does. So when you intermittent fast, which most people don't know that when you eat, every time you eat, your body will produce insulin.
Yeah, actually, anything that you intake, it produces a small spike of insulin.
Anything with caloric value. That's why intermittent fasting is key, not to have anything with caloric. Like, I don't drink coffee. I don't like the bitterness, but if I'm going to drink coffee, I have to add the sugar and creamer. And that's high caloric intake, so I just ignore coffee and I get 0 calorie energy drinks. So that's what I do in the morning. That's the only thing I have aside from water in the morning until noon. So keeping the caloric intake at 0, my body does not produce insulin. It doesn't. It's still in a fasting state.
Yeah.
When you're in a fasting state, your body gets more alive. So your digestive system is talking with your neurological system. Your neurological system is talking with your medulla oblongata. So everything is getting alive. Now the most important, in my opinion, the most important part of producing hormones is your thyroid. A lot of people that have had issues with their thyroid that go to intermittent fasting fix that issue.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that, especially if they're in the beginning stages of it.
Yeah.
Like I know with like Hashimoto's disease and stuff, there's some other issues there. It's mostly an autoimmune issue.
Yeah, which a lot of issues that people have with their autoimmune is because of their diet.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Autoimmune issues are, yeah, we can talk about autoimmune issues all day long.
Right.
And I know just the thing with autoimmune issues.
Yeah.
Even advanced immune deficiency syndrome, advanced immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS. Very interesting.
But look, we can say that. Magic Johnson is still alive.
There's a reason.
Yep.
But
There's a science.
But hey, thank y'all so much for coming out. Hope you
Good
enjoyed the
night,
meeting.
man.
Y'all have a wonderful night. But yeah, but intermittent fasting helps regulate blood sugar too, right?
Yes, yeah, intermittent fasting, and it goes to every time you eat, your body produces insulin. So when you're intermittent fasting, when you eat, the insulin that is produced is more regulated when you eat in a short amount of time than when you eat all throughout the day. So when you're eating all throughout the day, your body is producing a lot more insulin.
Yeah, because you have glucose in the bloodstream and it's trying to produce
Right.
it in order to get
And
into
of
the
course,
cells.
depends on what you eat. So, for example, complex carbs versus simple carbs. So, a lot of people are like, well, what's the difference between complex carbs and simple carbs?
Yeah.
Well, first off, simple carbs are basic carbs.
Another way to say that is polysaccharides or monosaccharides.
Yes.
And I like polysaccharides for the reason that your immune system can function at such a great rate. And like the polysaccharides that come from like beta-glucans, polysaccharides come from mushrooms, right? Well, mostly mushrooms, they come from trees, some trees too, but like chaga mushroom, extremely high in beta-glucan.
Was it chaga we had in that too?
Yeah, well, chaga was in one of them that we cannot mention.
Yes.
But yeah, chaga mushroom also has like betulinic acid, as highest concentration of betulinic acid in it, which is extremely cancer fighting. Out of 2,500 different substances, they found that it was the most cancer fighting substance on the earth.
See, intermittent fasting has been shown to battle cancer.
Well, it
Because of the
will.
reproduction of cells.
Well, it will because, when you lower that sugar intake as
Right.
well, that sugar intake, sugar feeds cancer.
I was going to say, cancerous cells love sugar.
Yeah, they love it because that's how they reproduce uncontrollably, right? And just so you know, cancer is, like when you dissect cancer at its core, all it is, and just so you know, not cancer in the medical term. Cancer from here on out will be referred to uncontrollable
Growth of
uncontrolled metabolic rate of cells, right? Cells, they will mutate and they will start to reproduce uncontrollably, and that is what that is.
So essentially, cells, just for people that aren't familiar, cells, we have obviously have cells in our body. They have a lifespan. They start their growth, they grow, they die, new cells replace those cells.
Yeah, and the immune system removes them.
Right. Cancerous cells are cells that grow, continue to grow, and do not stop growing.
Yeah. Well, they don't. It's not that they don't stop growing; it's that they don't stop reproducing. Like they start dividing and multiplying at rapid rates,
But they never die off.
but they never die off.
Right.
Yeah. And that's like a mutation within the cell, within the DNA, and that happens because of oxidation in the DNA. It happens because there's no more control around that cell. It almost takes on a life of its own, but it is not a life of its own. It just is a cell in your body that's reproducing uncontrollably.
Right.
Now, there's ways to stop it from moving in your body, right? So L-lysine is something that you can take that is an amino acid, one of the most prevalent amino acids in your body. Every human has like, on average, 2.2 pounds of amino acid, or just L-lysine in the body. Like, what? That's a lot of one amino acid, right? So that amino acid actually holds together structures in your tissue. It helps to hold together structures in your tissue. So if you take L-lysine on a regular basis, it helps to stop certain diseases and cancers from moving through your cells, because what a cancer cell will do is it will send out collagen dissolving enzymes to dissolve the tissue around it so it can grow uncontrollably. Well, collagen dissolving enzymes stop at L-lysine. L-lysine stops them from continuing to break down tissue. So that's one thing that can help some people, I'm pretty sure, but that's one of the problems, right? So, but anyway, we're getting way off. We're going to cancer and all the diabetes. Lord Almighty. Herbs for diabetes.
Okay. So real quick, but just to get off the intermittent fasting and diabetes. So intermittent fasting can improve your blood glucose, especially if you have diabetes type 2, and cause diabetes to reverse or go into remission.
Remission. Yeah. Yeah. Diabetes type 2 is purely dietary.
Yes,
right?
It's just your lifestyle.
Yes.
If you live off of McDonald's and Taco Bell, that's a problem.
And even if you eat healthfully or healthfully enough, you suppose you do, there's always more that you can do. There's always a better diet that you can look forward to. There's something that you're missing where you're not able to.
And that goes to, like you were talking about, minerals are extremely important.
Yes.
Like if you use regular salt, swap to Himalayan salt. That's packed with minerals.
Yeah, the Himalayan crystal salt has 84 to 88 trace minerals in it. Extremely good for you.
Per serving.
Yeah, it's really good for you.
And it tastes better than regular.
Way better. It's like a gourmet salt. So
Yeah.
I used to do it then. I need to get back into it. I used to, like, every month I'd order a new salt and I'd have a jar, right? And I started with Himalayan crystal, pink Himalayan crystal salt. And I started getting other salt. I get like this green sea salt from this area, but this black lava salt from this area, and this other salt from this area that was like brown. And I would just basically mix it all in the jar. And my goodness, the amount of minerals that you get from that, but the taste, the flavor, that is gourmet salt. That when you put on any dish, anything, it is phenomenal, the flavor that comes out of it.
Side note,
I know this is going in.
dogs.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people realize when their dog is outside eating soil or they eat potting soil, the reason they are doing that is a lack of minerals. They are looking for minerals.
Yeah.
So if your dog's outside eating soil, put some pink Himalayan salt in their dog food. That will take care of that issue. I promise.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. So herbs for, and these are just some herbs that you can look to and use. If you have diabetes.
Massive world. Plenty of herbs out there to take care of pretty much anything. We are not the FDA, nor do I personally endorse the FDA.
There's over 30,000 different herbs in the traditional medicinal systems from around the world. You only need to know like the top 10 from each medicinal system, right? That will to really get awesome benefits. One of the cool things about this world today is we have the ability to like mix and match all these different medicinal systems from around the world and get like the ultimate medicinal system put together. I believe that, your local herbs are probably going to be the best for you, right? And there is an herb for everything around you that matches up with an herb in another area. But what we know of right now is not, we can't exactly match it up because we don't have thousands of years of history of herbal medicine in North America, right? We have hundreds of years of history. We don't have thousands of years of history, right? We know a lot of different herbs in North America that help you and that coincide with other herbs in other areas, but we have thousands of years of history and traditional Chinese medicine and Taoist herbs in other parts of the world, right? Tibet, all those places in the East that are, just so well versed in, right? In Ayurveda. So some of these herbs are extremely awesome. The first one that I always recommend to people who take insulin on a normal basis, green string bean tea, or just green string bean extract, green string bean. It is phenomenal because it acts as insulin as itself. Most people don't know that. 1 cup of green string bean tea is equivalent to 1 unit of insulin. Now, a lot of people are taking a lot of units of insulin a day. I understand that, but at least that's a start.
So, for those of us that believe at some point the world will go to absolute shiitake
Shiitake mushrooms.
if you know someone or you yourself have diabetes, write that down.
Yeah.
Because green beans are fairly available and easy to grow.
Yep. One of the things we haven't gotten into, which I was talking to our customer about, was insulin resistance.
Yeah.
But I'll get into that in a minute. I do have to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
So if you want to do a shower talk, I'll come back and talk about it.
Can you give me a read, please? We'll do a read message. Yeah. So, shower talk number 2. I know why he's doing this, because he really wants number 3. He does. Shower talk number 2. Why do we say, I slept like a baby when babies wake up every 2 hours? I got nothing on that one. Hey, babe. Can you go get me some food before they close? I said not right now. I want some, just not right now.
I'll do it.
So why do we say I slept like a baby when babies wake up every 2 hours? I mean, at my age right now, I probably sleep like a baby. I wake up about every 2 hours. I don't know why. I just wake up. Sucks. Probably mostly because I go to bed thinking about what I have to get done. I wake up thinking about what I have to get done, and in the process, I'm constantly thinking about what I have to get done. So it's a constant thought of what do I have to get done. And that's probably why I wake up every 2 hours. Kind of weird.
3 weeks ago,
I'm slowly not. Like an old.
Well,
You gonna edit that out?
what's that?
You gonna edit this like long silent pause out?
No. It's for people to think, Nathan. They need to reflect. Kind of on the microphone right now, though, so I can't really talk to you. Yeah.
But so back to what I was saying before. So let me go through some of the herbs real quick that are really freaking awesome for diabetes, and then we'll get into insulin resistance, and then we'll get into some more of these shower thoughts, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So we talked a lot about health tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I like it though. I like it because it's something that
A lot of people have been requesting it
really.
because, especially the ones we talk to, they don't realize, which me and you are from,
Two different walks of life.
yes,
Even though we
yours,
grew up in the same household.
right. You're very medicinal, herbal, which, like I tell everybody, look, if I got a question about something, an issue, and I need it cured, talking about that. A lot of people, when they're like, well, I'm trying
I
to.
cannot cure anything, by the way. You have to throw that up. We're on YouTube, Robert. It can get canceled real quick.
Fuck it.
I have before, like I've gotten when I talked about natural cures for cancer, which do not exist apparently.
Yeah, I know. You don't look up anybody that's actually cured cancer and all of a sudden disappeared. Don't do that. Doesn't exist.
No.
But yeah, anything.
You're still talking directly. Do I need to get you the other mic?
Because you're not sitting over there. When it's both of us, you're supposed to sit over there.
You can turn it up.
I can't because it
Turns up like that.
was falling down there. Oh no, that's what it was. I couldn't get it to go down. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's nothing there.
Somebody broke it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So if which anybody in our family, if they have an issue in that sense, it's like, hey, talk to Matt. And then I've had a lot of people come to me and they're trying to change their physique and they're wondering, what do I need to do? Because A physically aesthetic body, a healthy body, in that sense, starts in the kitchen. You can't have a six-pack of abs. You can't have big delts and massive trucks eating McDonald's and burgers.
No, not at all. It
And
doesn't matter how much you work out.
right, and that's where I come. Now I do know, I know micros and I know macros,
Yeah.
and which having discussions with you over the last over a decade, I've learned a lot in the herbal medicinal side of things. Obviously, a fraction of what you know, but you had a lot of free time back in the day, so you got to learn a whole lot.
I have a lot of free time.
Yeah, that's why we have a meadery.
Yeah.
But that's our different walks of life. Like mine, I know what the body wants. I know what the body needs. I know how to tear the body down. I know how to build the body back up, which Dad does too.
Yeah.
And in that, there are still herbs that your body can use to help, because the way that the body tears down muscle and rebuilds it, it's honestly, it's this mind blowing. Like
It really is.
it's crazy the way that it does that. Like you rip something apart, you break it, and when it's built back together, it's stronger.
That's actually a common theme in nature, though.
It is.
Right? It really is. That's called a crucible. I talk about crucibles a lot.
Yeah.
It's something that you experience that's extremely difficult, but you come out on the other end 1,000 times better, right? 1,000 times better. And you learn and you go forward doing much better than you were before. But let me get back to herbs for a second. One of the herbs that every person on this earth should be taking at this moment for the rest of their lives is an herb called gynostemma, also known as xiaogulan. Xiaogulan or gynostemma is an herb that is a multi-directional herb. It has over 85 different saponins in it, and these saponins are particular in their multi-directional or mediating action, right? So what these do is they regulate your metabolism, they regulate your immune system, they regulate your neurological system, they help to regulate your hormones, your endocrine system, they help to regulate every major function of your body. It's extremely beneficial. If you go to Immortality, TEA, they have some of the best gynostemma that's grown out there. Really awesome people. Love to get him on the show. Would love to get him on the show. Really, be really awesome.
I think we're going to be about 152 episodes in before we can.
Well, we got a phone line we can get.
That's true.
So I would love to get him on the phone and get him on the show that way. It'd be super awesome. But Nepal cactus is one that we mentioned earlier. Nepal cactus, it's a fruit that comes off of a cactus. They grow pretty much all over Alabama. Really awesome. There are these red pear-like looking fruits that grow. You have to get the pricklies off of them, of course, but they are pretty fantastic. The juice, or basically you blend them or juice them or whatnot. But they have extracts of Nepal cactus that you can take to help regulate blood sugar. And honestly, it's something that I haven't researched a whole lot, but I know that it's really, really good. I've seen a lot of studies on it. I just haven't researched the actual chemical action of it, right? But it is, I know for a fact that it is extremely beneficial. If you take it on a regular basis, it will help to regulate blood sugar in the body. Ashwagandha. This is one that a lot of people are actually starting to know about. Even like millennials and Gen Zs are like taking this stuff now, right? Because it's known to reduce cortisol levels up to 26%, which is astronomical for stress. stress in the body, which I've talked to this with Nathan before, just a little bit, touched on it. Appreciate you, Nathan. But stress in the body will produce all sorts of negative side effects that you do not want to experience. It will kill you. It will literally kill you.
Stress actually replicates symptoms of stroke.
Yeah. So most people don't know that, you yourself, your mind in your body can actually
Appreciate it, man.
make your physical body produce chemicals.
Yeah, Michael.
Well,
Appreciate you, Mike, dude. The wireless mic walking out the door.
Yep.
wireless mic out.
We checked and he was here.
Mic check.
But stress can be extremely damaging for the body. It will increase oxidation to DNA. It will cause particular chemicals that you're addicted to be produced by your cells that will damage tissues. It will reduce your immune system and its ability to function. And that in itself, like the reduction of the immune system in itself, is such a difficult, complex beast to work with because your immune system does so many different things. Most people think that it just fights off like disease and stuff. No. It has so many functions around the body. So many functions. And when you mess with your immune system, when you tax your immune system in that way, man, you can cause all sorts of diseases or issues to pop up, symptoms to pop up.
Right? Your immune system actually helps control your sleep.
Yeah. For sure. Let's do a shower thought.
Yep. Obviously you, because I've had the last two.
I mean, you can do all the shower thought. I don't care.
Go for it.
All right. Shower thought number 3. If someone from the past suddenly appeared today, what would be the most difficult thing to explain to them?
Easy.
Okay.
Easy. Well, I guess it depends on
what past.
how far in the past.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't worry about it. Okay.
if George Washington popped up, then I would have to explain what the fuck is going on in the world today, in society, in America, and why we have veered so far off of the founding fathers' beliefs that, there's the look. Why we have veered so far off path of the founding fathers' beliefs. That would be a hard pill to swallow.
For someone like George Washington.
Yes. We would speak the same language. He might have a bit of a British accent.
He's getting the mic.
I just want to say, out of all the founding fathers, George Washington is by far the most cringe, to use some of that Gen Z slang. I don't understand why we look up to George Washington and why we don't look up to, Ben Franklin or Alexander Hamilton or someone like that.
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln.
Well, Abraham Lincoln, great, yeah.
I would love to have a conversation with him.
So,
And explain where we're at.
the reason is that George Washington was lit to have like some phenomenal character, right?
He's a mythic figure, ultimately.
Well, he was
Like,
the U.S. president.
Like, remember all our discussions talking about myth? Yeah, he was a real guy, obviously, and that's why I say that myth does relate to real history. But there is very much like legend and, kind of a mystery around George Washington that a lot of people hype up, even though we know for a fact some of that stuff was just flat out not true. Like the whole cherry tree thing, like, I cannot tell a lie. That's bullshit.
Well, I mean, if you look at some of his journals, it's pretty apparent that he focused on the human character pretty avidly. Like he really tried to do his best, which is really cool, I think that's pretty cool because most people aren't disciplined enough
We
to
did
do
have
that.
a whiskey spill, like on his property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Private still, which was
I
pretty
heard
cool.
it. Yeah,
He
we
also
talked
had-
about that.
slaves. And
You
if
know,
go
you know
to
what kind of,
Robert,
wait, you know what kind of
see the
barrels?
slave quarters.
Do you know what kind of barrels he put his whiskey in?
Ooh, no.
Cherry.
Was it Jerry? That's funny if it's true. No, but like seriously though, yeah, like that's another thing. I feel like
Well, he actually got rid of his slaves.
No, he did own slaves, and he actually made efforts to go fetch slaves that ran away from him.
Well, he freed his slaves. He couldn't free his wife's slaves because they were, supposedly property of his.
Okay,
you know-
look,
I've never heard of this
look,
citation that he freed his own slaves.
Look.
I've never heard of that.
Look,
he was married.
Again, I've never heard that.
if Americans are going to be so pissed about slaves, let's go after the countries that still have slaves
I agree.
and get off
Yes.
this boat.
Libya has open slave markets. It's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
So let's get off of this. I'm oppressed, and
No, it's not.
No, you're not
Slavery is
oppressed.
wrong, no matter
It
what.
is wrong. We corrected it here in the U.S. Slavery is no
Too little,
more.
too late, and we are still.
There's no too late. We have no slavery.
We were the third
We
country.
do. Hold on. We do still have slavery in our penal system.
we were the-
You can be.
We have slavery in the fact that we have a federal government that makes us work.
You guys just yell at each other. It doesn't make
Whenever we have microphones, we yell at each other.
Because his microphone's louder than mine. He can't hear me.
So that is it. Actually, I'm trying. I can't hear you. And I'm
Well-
just trying to make my own point.
Well, honestly, though, we were the third country to be rid of slavery, right? Which is phenomenal.
Brazil is the last.
Well,
There's no lapse.
there's no lapse.
There's still slavery.
There's still slavery.
Not officially. Like
No, there is
but
officially
it
still
does have
slavery in the world.
No government is actually like maintaining a system of
But
slavery.
not all of the world is governed.
No, like
Yeah.
not well, but I mean there are jurisdictions of different governments of the world. Whether or not they actually have the power and means to enforce the laws of that land, that's neither here nor
I think
there.
that's a part of
They
government.
still have. I mean, they still have the government.
But that aside, it's called the Emancipation Proclamation. Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, is based.
Slavery ended
Yeah.
in the U.S.
No.
Why are we
because-
still
no,
bringing it up?
No, and I'm serious about this.
Why
Why
from the early 1800s are people still claiming that they're oppressed and that they need retribution? Why? Look, I'm Irish. Do you know how many Irish slaves were in the U.S.? There were hundreds of thousands of Irish slaves in
not
the
as,
U.S.
not as many as there were Native American
More,
black slaves.
more.
No, it's not true.
Irish
okay,
Irish slaves
so-
were prominent in the U.S. and in New England.
It's not true.
It is.
By
They
the way,
were.
most of them were indentured servants. They weren't actually
No, they
slaves.
were.
Well, yeah, no, you're correct partly about that. But there was also black slave owners as well.
Of
There
course
were.
In New Orleans, yes.
Yes,
In-
in New Orleans.
Yeah, because they had a mixed population that thought of
Yes.
themselves as better than the,
Yes.
slaves.
Yeah,
That still doesn't
But-
make it right.
it's not right.
Nobody
And
ever said it was right.
Nobody's
no,
saying it's
the
right.
only point I'm trying to make is that it's still an issue because we still have it in the penal system. You can still, if you commit a crime, be forced into labor. And that is like in the actual amendment.
But if you commit a felony, you no longer have constitutional rights.
Bullshit, I disagree with that. And honestly, I think that because that is the status quo, that should be changed.
We can
I
have
don't
a
think
discussion on
felons, I
that.
don't think
Because
felons
I
should have
disagree
their
with
rights
you.
taken away.
I slightly agree with you, but mostly I disagree with you.
So I would
it's
say,
just
wait a
a
minute.
random thing.
I would say maybe what a felony is should be.
I agree in the sense of what kind of felony it was. If
Yes.
the felony was a
Nonviolent.
nonviolent charge, should a felony, what, I don't even know what the term is for that. Someone that has a felony.
Felon. Yeah, it's felon.
Okay, now we got this smart guy on the microphone. So should a felon be able to, if they have a nonviolent crime, be able to own a firearm? I absolutely agree. Yes, he should. Right now, can you? No.
I honestly do care less about the felon's right to own a gun and more about their right to vote.
I mean, that's a valid point.
That's a valid point.
That is a valid point.
Yeah, I
yes.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Peace, brother.
Fell out.
Love you.
See y'all, brother.
Wait, he just dropped the mic.
He's working.
I know.
Good for him.
But, no, yeah, I don't even know why we got into that.
That's what we do, though. We just.
Yeah. Went off on the rails there.
Yeah.
Hey, can you fill the rest of that popcorn in a bucket? That'd be awesome. Because nobody's gonna eat it, I guarantee it.
You want some popcorn, Nathan?
I don't know how to clean out the popcorn thing.
What?
It's okay, we got it.
Thank you.
My stomach's really
We'll
full.
show you.
I can't have
We
popcorn.
no longer have somebody here. We gotta teach you. You gotta be taught. You gotta get that education, Nathan.
But so there's a bunch of different herbs that you can take for diabetes.
Going back to herbs.
There's a bunch of different herbs that you can take for racism too.
Slavery felons herbs.
It will cure your racism, I promise. Oh, geez.
All right, let's go to Mead. As I was going to say, let's go to Mead Talk 4. We're way past Mead Talk 4. Let's go to shower thought number 4. Are you ready?
Yes, we're ready.
A successful marriage ends with watching the other person die.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's poetic.
A successful marriage ends in watching the other person die. Beautiful. Isn't that beautiful?
You'll see me die one day, man.
Yeah.
And it'll probably go something like this. Here, Matt, hold my meat and watch this shit.
And then I'll call her and be like,
I watched it and it wasn't that pretty.
I'll be like, you don't know what the hell just happened. This shit was crazy. I don't know if he's still alive, but this shit was crazy.
It's on YouTube.
You can watch it later if you want.
You gotta edit it and upload it.
Here soon, every freaking thing that we do will be on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
or at least uploaded in some video format. It's pretty wild. Pretty wild. I would say, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die first, but Jennifer does not agree.
Yeah.
But the statistics show that men die earlier than women.
Right.
So. Oh no.
He's running to the mic.
Here we go.
I would do anything for that bike.
I do not disagree with the statistic. That's not what I was looking for.
Okay.
However, I am very curious as to why, for that subject in particular, you would look at the statistics. But for literally every other subject that we've talked about, you said that the data is wrong, or it's just flat out a lie, or like maliciously a lie.
What statistics are you talking about?
Literally every single bit of statistics that relates to every other topic that we've talked about.
No, I looked at statistics pretty much for everything I talk about.
I would actually be very curious to look at your search history and see if that's true. Because I'm curious, what you think of as like a a proper data sheet,
Well, normally I get it from government websites, right?
from government websites. Okay.
I mean, although I don't believe in the government 100%, right?
It is a part of their job to keep up with some stuff.
Yeah.
Well, when you look at numbers and stuff, it
just kind of seems strange to me that for some stuff that y'all will trust the numbers, but then for other stuff, you say fuck those numbers. I guess I just don't get it. It seems like a double standard to me.
Well, give me an example.
Like the trans statistics.
About
All right, well, let's use the trans women in women's sports, for example.
okay.
All the statistics say that trans women being in women's sports is fine, that cis women do not have a disadvantage against trans women, and that generally trans women do just as well in sports as cis women and no better.
which is bullshit.
See, you say that's bullshit,
But
but then you'll look to other statistics and be like,
Oh, well, yeah, that's true, of
Wait,
course.
where are your statistics?
Yeah, that's like 100% a lie.
No,
You cannot have a
It's
sane
true.
mind
We'll-
and believe that to
no.
be completely true.
I have the sanest mind in this room, man. Look, we'll talk about that next week, okay? Look, you know, I don't want to get like in another screaming match here. No, seriously,
I'm not screaming.
because that's a topic that I care like very, very.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like,
Because ultimately, I'm of the opinion that it's good not to be genocided, and I like personally not being genocided. You know what I'm saying?
nobody should be killed for their beliefs. I believe that 100%. Good. I mean, I don't think that anybody should be killed. Like, we disagree on a lot of stuff. I would never say that you should be harmed or thought of differently just because of your beliefs. And like I said, I've never treated you differently. Even though I disagree 100% with you, that has nothing to do on how you function as a person. You do great here. I mean, like everything.
I do kind of have a feeling though that if I wanted to go by like my actual like name that I want to go by and go by the pronouns that I want to go by, I feel like that y'all would give me a hard time on that and wouldn't.
Well, we give people hard times on.
No, I
everything.
mean, not like that kind of hard time. Like, oh, we're just ribbing you. No, I mean like I'm afraid that y'all would like straight up just maliciously, you know, misgender me and use my other name, which is actually my middle name. You know, like it's just one of those things where it's like I hear you. But knowing, you know, what y'all believe on the topic, I can't trust y'all, you know, to be 100% myself here, you know?
Yeah,
Which
that's fine.
Which, you know, I mean, yeah, like,
Yeah,
honestly,
but
I
at
like
the same time-
the situation that we have. So it's one of those things where I'm not mad at the status quo.
No, but at the same time, I mean, that trust is a two-way street, man. You know?
It's,
If you expect us to abide by your rules and
it's like,
and I don't say that in a you live in a different world, but if you expect us to respect you in that manner, there's also a meeting in the middle, if you know what I mean. So you understand our beliefs, we understand your beliefs, we understand where you're coming from. Well, I take that back. I'm learning where you come from. We had that conversation last night.
You had a pretty good grasp on it, I felt like last night.
We had a conversation.
I understand 100% where you're coming from.
See,
It just doesn't make sense.
You always say that, Matt, and you act like you have all the answers. It's something I do wish that you wouldn't do sometimes.
I do. I have a lot of answers. I don't have all the answers. I mean, that's obvious, right?
Could have fooled me. I don't know. Like sometimes you really make it seem like that you know everything.
No, I try to put myself in other people's shoes all the time, right? So like that was something that was taught to me at an early age, right? So I tried to understand everybody's perspective, and I've gone so far and to try and believe what other people believe, but in that instance, it just doesn't make sense. Like I try to think logically, right? I don't put emotion behind things as much as most people do. So
I just want to know, I guess, then what's illogical about like identifying as something else than what everyone else says you are.
yeah, because you know you are a certain way, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So no, bullshit. Biologically, there are certain things like about your body that you cannot change by yourself. That is true. But when it comes to your personality, your self-expression, that is not something that anyone else can dictate to you. That is 100% on you.
Yeah, 100%.
How you want to express yourself, how you want to identify,
Yeah,
that is your choice.
yeah. I just think it's a problem that we identify with things of the world, right?
Okay, so you identify as a man, right?
Yeah, I realize next
No.
week's Mead Talk.
You don't identify as a man?
No, I am born a man.
Okay,
That's what I am.
should I use neutered pronouns then?
I don't know what that means.
Like it is. Should I use it is?
I don't understand what that
Because
means.
if you're not a man, well then
No, I
you
am.
don't have a gender then? What's going on here?
No, I am a man. That is what I was born
Okay,
as.
so
I
you
don't
do
identify as that. That is just what I am.
Okay.
Can I ask a
That is
question?
what identity is.
Can I ask a question? If we can change pronouns, can we change adjectives?
Androgens
I'm
are
a
nothing
sexy
but
motherfucker.
Adjectives.
adjectives?
Yes.
Because I am a sexy king lord. You should use that every time you address me.
If I identify as rich,
No, because that has to do with something beyond simple self-expression. Like if you're talking about
Sexy
like
lord.
adjectives, if you're talking about adjectives, right? You're talking about like words that describe who you are, right? So let's say like you're a rich man, all right? You can't really identify as rich though,
Why not?
because being rich directly it directly relates to how much actual money you have. So
But does it?
Yes, it does. By definition,
I think that
means that you have
identifying
money.
I think that identifying as rich means that you identify as having rich hood.
Having richhood?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, exactly.
What? So no, like actually though, what is richhood?
Yeah, rich hood is identifying as being rich.
No, because being rich directly, relates to having a large amount of money.
Yeah, so I identify
It relates
as
to
being
something
rich.
in the material world.
Yeah.
Gender is not of the
Well,
material
so does
world.
gender. Yeah.
No,
it's
gender
of
is
the
not of the
material world.
material world.
I
It's
believe so.
associated with physical characteristics
Exactly.
that are found in the material world. That at the end of the day, like we were talking about, last time, Matt, the clownfish doesn't have a gender.
I'm not a clownfish.
Right, you're a human. You have gender. You're literally the only thing on this earth that has a gender.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, of course. Because no other animal has this concept. No other animal divides their societies by what? By how we dress? By how we present ourselves? by how
No, okay,
we,
you're
by how we
thinking about
posture?
something completely different.
No, I'm thinking about gender.
You're thinking about in the 1900s when things started to become dress, pink, blue, whatever, and they started
It was
associating.
long before the 1900s.
They started associating those things with.
long before the 1900s.
They started associating those things with a girl or a boy, right? That's what you're thinking of.
can I identify as a Mexican?
No.
Well, the cool thing
is you weren't born in Mexico. That's
but you don't know that. But the cool thing.
Well, I do know that because y'all both said that y'all grew up here.
Well, the cool thing about race is that it's actually more on a spectrum, right? So most people,
I personally hold that race is just a useless metric of defining who you are.
oh yeah, it doesn't have any.
It's a
We
factor.
agree on that.
It's a factor of your identity that literally matters, not at all.
Yeah,
Except for
we're all from
the-
everywhere, pretty much.
Right. Except for the context of past systemic oppressions that haven't been fully resolved. Only in those situations is race ever relevant.
I'm gonna have to be a big boy here and say, guys, we are half an hour past when this should have ended, and we're gonna have him on the show next week.
True. Wait, I still have to go into insulin resistance a little bit.
Okay.
And I also need to continue finishing up, and I haven't even gotten
Started.
any headway in my homework. So
That's what we're here for.
I'm so
to
sorry,
distract you.
it's not y'all's fault. I wouldn't have been able to get any of this done if I was literally anywhere else but my house. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
Oh,
it is what it is.
It's for-
Look, hey, I appreciate you sticking it out.
Well,
Thank you.
it's my fault for not doing it earlier.
If you need to leave, you're good.
No, I'm not in a super bad rush. I'm gonna finish closing up, but yeah.
We appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so let me talk about insulin resistance a little bit. We got a little bit off topic there. But one of the things that we talked about with our customer was insulin resistance, right? And one of the things that happens that most people don't really know about is when you combine fats and sugars.
Yeah.
You combine fats and sugars, which is pretty much everything that people consume on a daily basis. They combine fats and sugars.
Right.
Pizza is known as the most hyperglycemic
I love
consumable
pizza.
food on the hyperglycemic index.
Well,
right?
I think the biggest issue is people don't understand what sugars are. People don't understand that food is processed and turned into sugar.
Yeah, everything you consume is converted into glucose.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Well-
that's the next step before it becomes ATP.
Well, yes and no.
No, yes, there's no yes.
No. Not everything you digest becomes glucose.
Every calorie you digest.
No.
Yes.
Some calories take more energy to digest than others.
That doesn't matter. It's
Ergo, it
still-
cannot become glucose.
yes, it becomes glucose still, but you use
Alright,
it.
now, You're using it in the process.
Yeah, it still becomes glucose. Everything that is a calorie, even fats, except for like medium chain triglycerides, right? So those actually.
So I'm thinking more of stored glucose, so to speak.
Yeah, so well, those actually surpass the metabolic system and go straight into a process of creating hormones, which is
Yeah.
really cool. But like coconut oil is really good for that, right? Because it's mostly medium chain triglycerides. It's saturated fats, right? Saturated
Coconut
fats.
oil is also very good for hormonal balance.
Yeah, that's because it creates cholesterol.
Right.
Cholesterol is what you use.
Good cholesterol.
Well, most cholesterol is good until it's oxidized.
Mhm.
But so cholesterol is extremely important for producing your hormones. That's why a low-fat diet is not good for people. It's not good at all.
But again, it goes to the different fats.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's different fats. Yeah, you have, trans fatty acid.
Monosaturated.
But the saturated fats are extremely good for you.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
Matt, for once, I do actually totally agree with you.
It's not for once. You've agreed with me on a lot of stuff. I just want to throw that out there. And I do know this for a fact.
super niche things. But
Yeah.
I'm talking about like when it comes to
No, it's not niche. We agree on a lot of stuff.
the broader topic of like fats versus sugars. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, like the sugar industry actually fucking use their money and power to make a low-fat diet a
Yes.
thing at all.
Yeah.
Right. If it wasn't for them,
It's government incentivized, right?
right? Yeah, because it was profitable. Because it was profitable for the sugar industry, and the government had, of course, subsidies for that sugar industry.
Yeah, we've talked about this on Mead Talk before. There used to be campaigns that were put out by the government. The government had a whole department that was all about marketing all of these sugars and fats to people.
Is why the sugar industry literally paid off the government to create the food pyramid, which is why we have grains and breads and all these kinds of things
Bullshit.
at the bottom, like you're supposed to eat all that all the time. No, not true.
Yeah. Agreed, 100%.
No, fats are good.
Fats are fantastic. And if you actually go on an all-fat diet, you'll have very, very consistent energy. That's why people that, I know some people that eat all just meat, right? All meat. They're carnivores. And they do extremely well. And even people that don't eat herbs or have any particular plant diet and just strictly carnivore, they're not omnivores at all. They actually do extremely well. A lot of their diseases and issues go away, which is totally relevant. I think that's really cool. I don't think everybody does as well on that. I think there's different blood types because there's different proteins that are produced within the blood that make up your blood. But I think A negatives, so I'm an A negative. I probably shouldn't have said that on, this, but what else? It's military knows it, right? But O's actually do really well with meat. A negatives do really well with vegetarian or vegan diets, right? But you can't be a fast food vegan. You can't be eating crap. You have to eat noble plants. You have to eat good things that provide all your minerals, all those things. But anyways, insulin resistance is a real thing. It's a real problem. So he was able to drink mead all night. He didn't eat anything. Drank quite a few, and he went to go check his blood sugar, and his blood sugar was totally normal. And I explained to him, I said, you have an insulin resistance problem. Now you take insulin, he's type 1 diabetes, but you've got an insulin resistance problem. Hardcore. Stop combining fats and sugars. Fats will stop glucose from being able to be uptaken by the cell. I've studied with a doctor on this. He used to dissect people when they died. I worked pretty intense with this guy. And he showed me where people would be able to eat sugar-based diets or carbohydrate-based diets without fat and live perfectly fine with diabetes, or they would be able to eat fat-based diets and live perfectly fine, but the combination of the two. So pasta with oil, horrible. Pizza, horrible.
Especially the meat lovers.
Yeah. You got the meat, the cheese, and then you got all that bleached white wheat bread.
Meat lovers on cauliflower? You're good.
Possibly.
You're good.
I know you think that just because it's complex carbohydrate.
And that was the discussion we got in.
Yeah.
And I have some sources here, which, albeit more. I heard a lot of popcorn. That's just that kettle corn, dude. Like, you take a bite and you're like, I don't really want any, and then it's like, okay, I want all of the things.
Monosaccharide.
Yeah.
Monosaccharide. No problem.
Yeah. So, because it goes to glucose, how the body takes and breaks down things. Complex carbs, the reason your body prefers that as a source of energy is because when it breaks it was like
So close.
Wasn't it good as the shot I had the other night? Where I was just kind of,
That was pretty good.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, now we're well. We just need to answer.
Oh,
We're
way
off. But yes. So
But we still have the last shower thought in one day.
yeah, because Nathan's kicking us out.
It's not even 10 o'clock yet. It's not even 10 o'clock.
He's just like, get out of your bar.
Are you taking the pot for yourself?
No.
I'm going to go ahead and do this last one.
Let's do it.
Number 5. There should be a millennial edition of Monopoly, where you just walk around the board paying rent, never able to buy anything.
Yeah.
I do need to do
Nathan's like, you know what? Of all the things we argue about, nope, not that one.
I tell you what, Nathan and I agree on the majority of things.
No.
It's the minor things that we disagree on.
The minor things?
The very minor things.
No.
See, he identifies as the minor things as major things. I identify as the major things as minor things.
Of course, yeah.
It's all about identity.
It's all about identity.
I think that's good for this Mead Talk. We are 40 minutes over.
We're not 40 minutes over. We're 20 minutes under. What are you talking about?
But, man, more nights like this, we might have to go to 2 hours on Mead Talks.
I'm telling you. Appreciate you so much for showing up, all of you patrons out there.
Well, mine is saving.
No, Patreon's not. Actually, we need to set up a Patreon.
We do. We probably should set something up like that.
Okay,
Thank you so much,
Another one.
everybody.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Mead Talk out.
Till next time.